What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, The Walk 71, replaced it with a 4, and I'm here with my WWE Elimination Chamber 2018 review for you guys. I'm sorry. But yes, I have my notes ready to go. I got my opinion and my thoughts ready, so let's get right into it. So first, we had the pre-show match, which we had Gallows and Anderson versus The Miz Taraj. Now, I didn't watch the match. I'm sorry. I didn't even know when the match came on because my internet was tweaking, so I had to reset the box and I had to wait for it to come back, all kind of stuff. So by the time I went back to the network, their music was playing, so I know they won. I don't think the Miz Taraj would ever beat Gallows and Anderson on TV. So Gallows and Anderson won. I heard their music and stuff, and pretty much, yeah, they won. So then we opened up the show with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. So first, we had the show package, and then we had a package for the actual match itself, so you can actually get hyped for it. I like they did that because usually what WWE do is they have the match. It'd be like the first match, and if it actually is a match that like they need to, what's a good word? It is a match they, hold up, my fault. It is a match they need to, that has a story to it. They'll play the package during like the entrance of the first person. They did that before the match, and they got the fans hyped. So the match happened, right? All the women came out for the Women's Elimination Chamber match. So it started off with Bayley and Sonya Deville, and they start off the match. They begin tussling, slamming each other, different holes and all kind of stuff. And then eventually Bayley takes advantage for a bit. Then Sonya Deville begins to get on the offense after she hit Bayley in the stomach. Sonya tries to fling Bayley into the cage, but Bayley climbs it. Sonya and Bayley just throwing each other on the cage until Bayley eventually throws Sonya into it. And then Bayley hits an elbow drop on Sonya Deville to the outside padding for a near fall. And before Mandy Rose comes in, let me say this about Bayley. Bayley in this match was a different Bayley we've ever seen before. I haven't seen this Bayley in a long time, if ever. I'll leave it at that. I don't think I've ever seen a Bayley like this where she came out, she wasn't all excited and bubbly and upbeat and all this kind of stuff. She was kind of serious in this match. She was doing stuff that, you know, she usually doesn't do. She's a little bit more savage, and so was Sasha. But like Bayley in this match was a different Bayley. But I know after this match we're going back to the generic Bayley we've been getting on the main roster since she's arrived. But anyways, who is it? Who enters? Mandy Rose enters, and she ends up getting a stunner through the ropes from Bayley. And then Bayley gives one to Sonya, but not so long after that. She ends up 2v1 them. Then Sonya Deville hits the cleanest spear I've seen tonight. Better than Roman. And I'm not even hating on Roman. She hit a clean football tackle. I'm talking about, you know, going at it with the hips. Oh my gosh, she speared the crap out of Bayley onto the outside padding or whatever. Now, if this is the old chamber structure, we would have had the steel floor. That would have really been clean. But instead, they had the padding because they changed up the chamber design last year, and they decided to keep it. But yeah, that was clean. So then after that, it was basically Absolution taking over Bayley, throwing her into the cage. Bayley kicks out. They're just pummeling Bayley. Then Sasha enters. She gets a little bit of offense in, but then Absolution jumps them. Sasha and Bayley fling Sonya Deville into the cage. Mandy Rose takes out Bayley and then goes at it with Sasha. Then eventually Sasha hits the bank statement on Mandy Rose. And eventually Sonya Deville tried to run in to save her tag team partner, and Bayley had intercepted her with, I'm going to assume it was like a knee from like what it looked like. It looked like it was going to be a knee. She ends up tapping out and got eliminated. So the next person to come out was Mickie James. She came out. She went at it with everybody. She was going at it. Everybody was getting this Mickie James work, right? Mickie James was going brazy. Then she has a Hurricane on Deville, and then she takes out Sasha. Bayley and Mickie James were climbing the cage and fighting, like punching each other, teasing who's going to fall first. Eventually, Bayley got knocked off. So then Mickie James jumps off the pod onto Sonya Deville for elimination. That was clean. So then after that, Sasha and Bayley eliminate Mickie not too long after that. And I really didn't like that because I was like, Mickie actually got the crowd excited because for a minute it was kind of dead. And she was actually making the match lit with all the stuff she was doing, jumping off the pod, out her Hurricane and hose onto the padding, all kind of crazy stuff like that. And then she ends up getting eliminated with a combination of a backstabber from Sasha and a Bayley to belly onto her for elimination. So after that, it came down to 3 women: Bayley, Sasha, and Alexa Bliss. But what I didn't like was that Bayley and Sasha, instead of fighting each other, because this is a championship match, I don't think they knew that, they just start looking at Alexa Bliss until it was her time to get out. And then she tried to fight off. And then eventually when she tried to fight off, she was climbing around, basically getting chased. And she climbed one side of it. And it was like Bayley and Sasha was on each side of that cage that she was on. Basically, they were just chasing her until something happened. So eventually, let's see, Alexa Bliss. Yeah, let me see this again. Yeah, so she keeps climbing, running around. Sasha actually kicks Bayley off the pod because Alexa was like climbing it and trying to wait, and then Sasha went up there. So then she was waiting. She helped Bayley up. She had her grab her arm, and then as she was getting up, she kicked her off the pod. I was like, oh, that was kind of clean. Takes me back to heel Sasha, which we'll never get again. So she kicks her off of there, and then Bayley says, no, I'm going to pull up on you. She throws Sasha into the ring post. Alexa Bliss tries to pin Bayley, and Bayley suplexes Alexa real clean, and was basically on the offense. Sasha pulls up on Bayley, and then Bayley gets tossed. Alexa Bliss superplexes Bayley, and Sasha does a splash off of the, was it the top rope? It might have been, it was either off the top rope or the pod. She did like kind of like a frog splash. I think it was off of the pod, if I can remember. Bayley then hits a super Bayley to belly, and Alexa hits a roll up on Bayley and eliminates her, which she could have just pinned Sasha. But anyways, Alexa goes for the Twisted Bliss. Wait. Before that, so basically, after that, Alexa Bliss tries to pin Sasha. It didn't work. So then she climbs up the pod. Oh, no, I'm right. So she goes for the Twisted Bliss, and Sasha reverses it and hits her in like the guts with her knees. Then Sasha knees Bliss into the cage and then gets her leg caught. And then basically Bliss went on the offense, destroying her, going after the leg. So then after that, Bliss climbs the pods, hits the Twisted Bliss on the outside, but Sasha Banks catches her, no sells it, hits the bank statement, rolls back into the ring, slams, Bliss basically is slamming Sasha into the corner, all kind of stuff like that, and hits the top rope DDT for the win on her Andrade scene, all messed up. Then after that, she cut a promo, a little babyface promo, crying, saying, this is a crowning achievement moment, all this, and then she worked us all because she was like, and everybody in the crowd, you wish you could be like me, and cut a heel promo. I was like, all right, cool. So then after that, we had the Raw Tag Team Championship matches. We had Titus Worldwide, which is Titus O'Neil and Apollo No Crews, because they took his last name off because of that Parkland school shooter. His last name is Cruz, and they didn't want to be associated with it, and they took his last name off. So it was a match. Oh, wait, let me give you my thoughts on the women's chamber match. For the first women's chamber match, it was decent. It was better than the women's Money in the Bank match. It was decent. It wasn't bad. It was all right. I mean, we kind of knew who was going to win. It's not like they're going to give the title to any of the other women because it seems like they've only been building Alexa Bliss. But anyways, we had Titus Worldwide versus The Bar. It was a tag team match. And basically, The Bar jumped Titus Worldwide before the match started. They fought back. Apollo Crews was a cruiserweight tonight as he hit a dive onto The Bar. Then Titus and Cesaro start off and then instantly tags in Apollo, and Apollo dives again. The Bar takes over the match after Sheamus clotheslines Apollo onto the outside. Sheamus runs into the turnbuckle. And basically, yeah, they were taking over the match, work holds, double teaming Apollo, all kind of stuff. Then eventually Apollo got the hot tag on to Titus. The Titus tosses around Cesaro, takes out Sheamus with the boot to the outside. Cesaro tags Sheamus in eventually. He goes to the top, gets caught with the clash of the Titus. Apollo hits a ricochet dive. This is in my notes. He hit the ricochet dive on The Bar. I don't know exactly what you would call it, but it's what Cedric Alexander does, where he runs, jumps over the top rope onto the outside, flips over it, like Finn Balor, Cedric Alexander, or Ricochet, I believe. I think Ricochet did it. I'm just saying Ricochet because that's the first thing that came to my mind. Anyways, after that, Apollo hits a dive, like I said, and then he tries to go for a standing moonsault. Sheamus goes for the schoolboy, kicks out. Cesaro takes out Titus. Cesaro tags Sheamus, and Cesaro goes for a chop block Apollo Crews because he was trying to go for his finisher. Then eventually the Bar hit their tag team finisher and retained the titles. Now, honestly, I had no expectations for this match, and this match did not meet the expectations that I had for him, which was pretty low, which I didn't think this match was going to be great. I didn't even think this match was going to be all right. I knew this match wasn't going to be the best, and it wasn't the best, so I'm not disappointed. And I know that this feud is just a placeholder feud for the Bar, so they have something to do on the pay-per-view. Now, as for WrestleMania, I don't know who they're going to face for the titles. It could be Gallows and Anderson. It could be The Revival. It could be, is that the only tag teams in WWE right now? I think that's the only tag teams in WWE right now is that aren't champions is, the Revival and Gallows and Anderson. That's interesting. They might have a triple threat match at Mania. I can already tell. Anyways, the match was meh. No, it wasn't even a meh. It was just I'm glad it was over. It was a match that happened. So then after that, there was a backstage video where you see Asuka's mask on like a black background. I thought maybe it's the Titantron. And then Nia stomps and destroys the mask. After that, she walks out. The match happens. We got Asuka versus Nia Jax. And if Nia wins, she is added to the women's title match at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. Let me say this before the match started. They're calling Nia Jax the Irresistible Force. They put it on her Titantron and everything. You cannot be known as the Irresistible Force if you get beat by everybody half your size. She's been beaten by Sasha clean. She's been beaten by Bayley. When I was at an NXT live event, Bayley hit the Bayley to belly on Nia Jax and won. Asuka has beaten her twice. If you've seen what I posted on Twitter, I had quoted Nia Jax is a threat to Asuka's winning streak. And then I recorded both matches they've had on NXT, and Nia lost both times. And the ending happened the same way, where she screams at Asuka, and then Asuka just kicks the crap out of her and knocks her out. But the one in Japan was even worse because Asuka hit a German suplex on Nia, which is like, it wouldn't work on today's TV because they want it to look real, or they want it to look realistic. But live events and other stuff in NXT, stuff like that can happen. So yeah, you can't be known as the Irresistible Force if you don't do anything half of the time and people beat you all the time. You're not a threat. She's not a threat. I'm sorry. That's WWE's fault. They don't do nothing with her. Anyways, the match starts as their other matches where Nia basically just throws around Asuka like a child. Asuka tries to go for some dive because she let Nia get out to the outside. Nia kicks her in the back and dominates. Asuka goes for a knee bar, but Nia just throws her into the turnbuckle. Nia puts Asuka in a torture rack, and Asuka ends up reversing it sort of after a while, being in a torture rack into a guillotine. And then Nia hits a jackhammer like she was Goldberg. I was like, I'm surprised Asuka didn't die. So after that, Nia was out of it. Asuka goes for a kick, and Nia catches her with a Samoan drop and goes for a leg drop. And Asuka moves out the way, goes for a running kick for a near fall. Asuka goes for a combination of kicks for the near fall. It was basically the same ending as their other two matches in NXT. And I thought, oh, they're not going to end it the same way. And they didn't. Basically where Nia screams at Asuka and then gets kicked in the face. But she ends up kicking out. So after that, they take it to the top rope. You know what I'm saying? Asuka tries to go for a summer flip power bomb or whatever. We know it wasn't going to work. So Nia knocks her down, tries to go for the bonsai drop, and falls flat on her ass. She really tried to go for the bonsai drop, and it didn't work. So then Nia puts Asuka in a powerbomb position, and she has to make sure that she points at the WrestleMania sign, because that's the gimmick now. You got to point at the WrestleMania sign and let them know you're serious. Points at the WrestleMania sign and says something. Tries to go for the powerbomb, and Asuka instantly goes for a pin. She reverses into a pin for the win. And Nia Jax, once again, the Irresistible Force, loses. So somebody half her size. But it was Asuka. Asuka's not losing at a B show like Elimination Chamber. I don't think Asuka will ever lose in like the next couple of years, honestly. But anyways, after that, Nia pulls up on Asuka. I believe she had a Samoan drop or whatever, and then she puts Asuka through the barricade and then walks backstage. Then was it Renee Young interviews Alexa Bliss because she was watching the match the whole time, and she basically was talking to her, and Alexa Bliss says nobody is ready for Alexa. Boom, mind blown. But it's not like Asuka confirmed that she was facing Alexa Bliss at Mania, because I think she's going to face Charlotte at Mania. But anyways, after that, we got Woken Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt. And let me say something about this match. I wasn't looking forward to it, and this match proved to me why I wasn't looking forward to it. The build-up to this match has been pretty boring. The way they've treated Broken Matt or Woken Matt or whatever you want to call him is not the same as TNA. And the reason why is because the thing with Broken Matt and TNA was that he had these wacky videos at the Wyatt compound. At the Hardy's compound. He had those wacky videos. He was weird, but it was funny, and it was all kind of stuff like that. With this has been a WWE feud where I come out, you come out, we talk crap to each other, we assault each other, we have a match, you win. Oh, then we have another match. I win. Oh, then we have a third match. And then the person, whoever is supposed to be over in the first place, wins. It's 50-50 booking, bro. Like, because Matt Hardy lost to Bray Wyatt on the Raw 25th anniversary. But basically, before that, their whole feud has been them laughing at each other. Let that sink into your mind. That's a feud in WWE. Two crazy looking dudes just laughing at each other for 3 weeks straight, a month. This broken. I'm telling you, the only way they're gonna fix it is when Jeff Hardy comes back, becomes Brother Nero, and they do the Wyatt, the Hardy videos, stuff that they used to do in TNA. Those funny, weird videos where they would just do random, wacky stuff. That's what got the broken Matt Hardy thing over, and they're doing the opposite. They're just making him a regular WWE character. But anyways, the match happens. Matt Hardy comes out with the clean jacket. Then Bray Wyatt comes out. The lights go out. He's in there. Hardy's jacket is on there. He's not there. Then basically, Matt Hardy just makes a bunch of random noises. He actually sung the "I'll fade away and classify myself as obsolete." I'm not doing it again. And he did that for a good minute. Then he started doing his little weird laugh. And then eventually he pulled up on Bray Wyatt, jumped off the stairs for double hands. I don't even know what you would call it. Double axe handle. There you go. He went for that. After that, he was basically on the offense for a minute. Hit a nice DDT on Bray. Then Bray hits the body splash and was on the offense. He even teased a Uranagi on the stairs. After a while, Bray was on offense for Matt for a long time. Then eventually Matt gets his comeback sequence and stuff. Goes for a twist of fate. Bray reverses into a Uranagi and a senton for a 2 count. Bray goes for a senton off of the second rope. Matt moves out the way. Matt tries to go for the twist of fate for the second time. And Bray throws him into the turnbuckle and hits a running attack on the turnbuckle. Then went for the Sister Abigail. Matt got out of it. Hits the twist of fate. Wins the match. That's the whole match. The match was nothing. I was almost excited for the match when Matt wasn't there. He was messing with Bray because I thought he was backstage, and then Matt was backstage, and then Bray would have to go there, and then they would have a weird camera, and then it would just turn into a brawl that would be like kind of like reminiscent of what they've done in TNA. But instead, it was just a regular match. The match was that's what the match was. My reaction is because Bray Wyatt took another L. The Eater of Pins himself has taken another L. But, man, my man's out here splurging on JoJo instead of paying his child support. Anyways, we're not going to talk about that. Anyways, after that, we had the Ronda Rousey contract signing, and it was very appropriate to have her sign her contract in the place she was made, which was Las Vegas in the UFC. That's where a lot of her big matches were, it wasn't in exactly where they were, but it was in quote-unquote Las Vegas, because this is Paradise, Nevada, but they'll just say Las Vegas, just like they say Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, when it really isn't. It's like a 1 hour drive from like Chicago. It's way out of Chicago. But anyways, basically they should have had the match at the MMG Grand, because that's where UFC does the stuff. But now, since this arena was just made, they come here sometimes. But anyways, Kurt Angle comes out with the contract, and Triple H and Stephanie came out, and at first I was surprised, but then I was like, oh, I know what they're doing. I see what y'all doing. Y'all got me. I see what y'all doing. All right, cool. So Triple H basically puts over Ronda Rousey as the baddest woman on the planet. She's done this. She's a great MMA fighter and all this. Now she's in WWE. And then eventually Ronda Rousey comes out, cuts a very cringy promo. Oh my God, her promo was so cringy. It's not a Ronda Rousey-esque promo, but I guess the way everything else happened, it makes sense. But basically, she was saying how she never would imagine herself being here, and she thanks the fans, and it looked like she was about to cry and all kind of stuff like that. And after that, Triple H opens the contracts and says when she signs this contract, she'll be competing at WrestleMania. She looks at the sign, right? Then after that, she was like, Kurt, anything you want to say? Then Kurt Angle at first is all happy to see Triple H and Stephanie, and I'm like, dude, Triple H just screwed you at Survivor Series in November and eliminated you in the Survivor Series match. Why are you smiling and all buddy with them? What is wrong with you? Are you I don't even know what to say. Are you whatever? So then eventually he started exposing them, snitching and stuff, talking about what they said backstage, and he was like, the funniest part that made me laugh was when he was like, Triple H and Stephanie was like, yeah, now that we sorry, we got that. And he was about to say bitch, and then they stopped and he's like, oh, wait a minute, we did not say that. They said Kurt got the flu, he's not feeling well, all this kind of stuff. So he tries to take Kurt to the back, and then eventually Ronda Rousey just looks very confused. Then Kurt Angle comes back out snitching again, saying, yeah, they called you an irrelevant has-been and da-da-da-da-da. And then he also had mentioned WrestleMania 31. I was like, oh, okay, I know where this is going. I know why she cut the cringy promo, and I know why they're out there. So then eventually she just looks mad. Ronda pulls up on Stephanie and Triple H. she goes like face to face with Steph, and then Triple H has to intervene, and Triple H wish he didn't because well, he got Steph out of there because he didn't want his wife to get messed up, and then Ronda Rousey suplexes Triple H through a table because the table was like there to hold the contract. Slams my man Triple H through a table. I popped hard because I didn't think she was gonna do that this early, but this is great. So then after that, Stephanie slaps Ronda Rousey, and then Ronda Rousey has that face like, you done fucked up, and she looked at her like she was about to kill her. She had that angry face. And then she signs the contract, but Stephanie McMahon leaves, drops the contract on Triple H, and walks out with the serious face. She wasn't shaking hands and kissing babies and all that other kind of stuff. She was angry. She was ready to kill somebody. And the thing is, I don't like Ronda Rousey's theme song. It's too upbeat, pop punky. It's too upbeat for me. You can't go from suplexing Triple H, the game, the double-digit time world champion, and then have this upbeat music. You need the Chris Benoit theme song. And I said that when I was in Wiser Stream. I donated and said that he put it together. It fits perfectly when she looks like she's ready to kill somebody. Not when she's all happy. She needs the Chris Benoit theme song so these hoes know, get out of here. Get them the fuck up out of here. So yeah, that was it. That was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think she was going to slam Triple H through the table, but that was clean. So it looks like at Mania we might be getting Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie. And if that's the case, then I can understand why they did what they did at Survivor Series, which is cool. I like that. That's nice. So then after that, we got ready for the main event. The 7-men Elimination Chamber match with the winner facing Brock Lesnar for the WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. Now listen, if you thought anybody other than Roman Reigns was winning this match, you need to go to a hospital, because Vince wanted this match more than he wants his company to succeed. Let me stop playing. But like, Vince wanted this match because he wants to submit Roman as the top babyface in the WWE. He wants this to happen. He wants this to happen. This has been his plan. That's why he wanted Mania 32 to be, yeah, Roman's here in the main event. Mania 33 was weird. They just had him bury Taker because Taker was dying. And then after that, you know, now, well, his match at 30 wants to prove, oh, yeah, he's there. 32, oh, I beat Triple H for the title. Got booed out the arena. And that didn't stop Vince. He wants Roman to be the guy. He will do whatever. He doesn't care. So, the match happens. And the Miz, Finn, and Seth start the match off. They tease, Miz teases alliances with everybody. Even throws up a too sweet at Finn, and Finn's like, nah, bruh. So Seth and Finn end up attacking the Miz, and then they go at it. But every time the Miz tries to get back into the ring, Miz gets knocked right back out. Bunch of back and forth for a bit. Rollins had hit a double blockbuster on Miz and Finn. John Cena enters. He has a standoff with Seth, and him and Seth are mouthing off basically, and then they end up pushing each other. Cena slams Rollins and does it again, slams the Miz and goes for a double 5-knuckle shuffle. Balor stomps Cena out and rolls up the Miz. Miz kicks out. Seth super kicks Finn, goes on the offense again. Cena gets some offense in and sets up for a double AA and with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins on his shoulders. Eventually, Finn Balor got off. Seth Rollins was still there. He was able to spin Seth, kind of like rotate, and was able to kick Finn in the face. Seth got out of it, hits the Enziguri. Cena and Miz are fighting on the outside. Oh, no, my fault. Cena and Balor are fighting on the outside, and Seth and the Miz are fighting on the outside. The only thing noteworthy really was that Finn had hit a stomp by climbing the cage and falling on Cena and doing his little flex pose or whatever. So then after that, Cena and Seth both hit superplexes on Miz and Finn Balor. It looked like they were waiting for each other to do the spot, because like Seth was looking at Cena or whatever across the ring. It's kind of funny. Then after that, Roman comes in, gets the boos, because Las Vegas aren't Roman believers. Basically comes in, he pulls up on everybody. Looks like Rollins and the Miz. It looks like Roman and the Miz. Why can't I talk? It looks like Roman and Rollins, they were looking at each other. They had their whole Shield thing. They just had the Shield reunion, which failed. But anyways, they did that gimmick, and then the Miz breaks it up, basically. Breaks it up, boos or whatever. Then eventually gets offense on everybody and ends up hitting the yes kicks on everybody. It was like everybody was like down around him, and he was just hitting yes kicks. And eventually he was pointing to everybody, and everybody was like saying no to who he didn't want to kick, and then they were saying yes to Roman and Cena. So then eventually the Miz was just start kicking the crap out of Roman for a bit, and then let me see, yeah, especially Roman. Then Roman stares at Braun for a bit because eventually he had got an offense on a lot of people. He was staring at Braun for a long time until Braun pulls up. And when Braun pulls up, he pulls up. And Braun pulls up on everybody, looks at the Miz, chases the Miz. The Miz really tried to climb around, and then eventually Braun pulled up, slammed his face into this plexiglass that is above the pod, and he just started bashing him head first, and then threw him off the pod into everybody else. Braun was the MVP of this match. Like I said, he pulls up on everybody. He throws Seth to the outside. He hits a running power slam and eliminates the Miz just like that. Then Elias enters because he won the right to be final in this match. He looks at Braun. Braun looks at him. He closes the door. And then Braun just goes back to pulling up on everybody. Then everybody jumps Braun, and everyone hits the shield bond on Braun. Braun kicks out at 2. Cena hits the AA on Braun, and Braun kicks out at 2. Roman hits the spear on Braun, and Braun kicks out at 2. Seth hits the curb stomp, and then Finn hit the coup de grace, but it was on the outside. Cena AA's Roman. Seth kicks Cena, which I found it weird that every time somebody was about to eliminate or do something to Roman, Seth was always there. It was kind of weird. So Seth kicks Cena. Finn and Seth take each other out, like, when they try to go for like a body splash and they both hit each other. And after that, Elias enters and tries to pin everyone for a 2 count. Elias has his little moment of offense. He goes on everybody and hits an elbow drop on Seth for a near fall. Elias had hit the electric chair powerbomb on Roman. Then he tried to do it on Braun because Braun was like chasing him, and he ended up outsmarting Braun, and Braun ran into the ring post. He tried to go for it. Braun said nope, eliminates Elias with the running power slam. So then after that, Braun goes with a power slam on Roman, and Seth once again hits the knee on Braun, and Finn takes him out with the drop kick. Cena goes for a crossbody on Braun, catches him, and hits the power slam and eliminates Cena. Braun eliminated everybody in this match except for like Roman, and Roman beat him for the win. Anyways, Braun takes out Seth and Roman, and then he goes at it with Finn. Finn gets offense on Braun Strowman, a cruiserweight getting offense on a super heavyweight. All right. Anyways, Finn goes for a shotgun drop kick, insecurities, all kind of stuff. He hits a coup de bras on Braun, on the back of Braun. Like Braun was like bent over, and then he hit it on his back for a near fall. Finn hits the 1960 on Seth for a near fall. Finn goes crazy on offense. He hits a coup de grace on Roman, and then Braun hits him with a power slam and eliminates Finn on site. So then Roman and Seth jump Braun, shield movement, shield power, baby. Yeah. And yeah. So then Braun gets up, he grabs Seth, and Seth tries to climb the pod or whatever. Roman hits a Samoan drop onto Braun to the outside. Braun rolls into the ring, and Seth Rollins hit a frog splash off of the top of the pod onto Braun for a near count. I thought Braun was going to get eliminated from that. So then Roman and Seth tease the shield power bomb. Braun gets out of it. He hits a clean drop kick onto Roman to the outside. Seth super kicks Braun, but then gets a power slam for his trouble for the elimination. So the final 2 are Roman and Braun. And you know who's going to win. But it was a good showdown for a bit until Roman was just OP all of a sudden. So they go to the outside. Roman dives out. He does his little Undertaker dive off of the top to the outside and lands, kind of bounces off of Braun on the cage or whatever. Then eventually Braun tries to run into him. He flings kind of Braun through the, I was about to say the tie pod. I meant the chamber pod. Does that for a bit. Then he gets out of it. Roman hits a Superman punch on the outside. Then gets Braun back into the ring. Hits a Superman punch another time. Then after that, he tries to go for the spear. Braun tries to hit a power slam. He gets out of it. Roman hit 2 spears and wins the match. And Roman is main eventing your WrestleMania main event against Brock Lesnar for the second time for the Universal Championship. And this time, Roman's not getting dominated. And the thing with Vince is that he's been having Brock Lesnar win with the F5 one time. And the big thing is that at Mania, the fans will all of a sudden be wowed when Roman kicks out of it. It's not like he didn't kick out of 3 of them at Mania. So anyways, they were teasing it. Roman looks all happy and all kind of stuff like that. I think he points at the WrestleMania sign. So the main event officially is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. And Vince is creaming his pants right now because he got the match he wanted all his life. after that, WWE has learned from their mistakes when it comes to pushing Roman and having him like main event a Mania or having him have a big push. They don't want somebody to boot out the arena. So what they do, have Braun pull up on Roman. So he hits Roman with 2 power slams and then throws Roman through the pod, and he celebrates, sends the fans home happy because WWE knows they don't want the arena to be booed out again. So they just had Braun take him out and, you know, get the fans happy, send them home happy. But it's not going to change the fact that y'all going to get the main event y'all don't want. But it doesn't matter, though. I knew this was going to happen a year ago because, I'm a very adventurous person. I read the dirt sheets and all kind of stuff like that. And it was said that this match was going to happen for next year's WrestleMania, which is this Mania. But I found that out last year's Mania. So I knew it was going to happen eventually. Because this match is supposed to put Roman over to win, and it's supposed to be the crowning achievement for Roman to send him off as a babyface, the top babyface. That's the purpose of this match. He's about to get this Okada push. He's beating everybody. Anyways, this Chamber pay-per-view was cool. I would say the Chamber matches were they're alright. They weren't mind-boggling. Like last year's Chamber match was better than both of these combined. But anyways, it was alright. I say look at the highlights at best. If you got the network, you could watch it. It was cool. I mean, I would have been more surprised if I knew who was gonna win. And now granted, I knew Bray was gonna win last year, but that was based off of pure prediction in my fantasy booking. I thought that Bray was gonna win so that he faces Randy for like a Wyatt extravaganza at Mania. And yeah, it happened, but it didn't happen in the way I thought it was gonna happen. With this, I knew this was going to happen from last year. I thought it was either Roman's going to win the Royal Rumble or he's going to win the Elimination Chamber. And then it kind of confirmed it when they said the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is going to be a Raw pay-per-view. And I was like, oh, they're going to have a Chamber match. Have Roman win it. He faces Brock at Mania. So I already knew who was going to win this match. It's not like my thoughts was ever going to change. You knew who was going to win. Anyways, it's just sometimes I like to be surprised. But yeah. Thumbs up. No, not this pay-per-view, just to, what WWE does with their superstars. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Do what you do to support me. Follow me on all my social media links down in the description below. Let me know if you want to see Crackhead Johnson. You don't even have to let me know because I'm going to start recording episodes this week. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.